It's late, the dishes are half done, and that sink of yours is holding a pool of gray water that just sits there and stares back at you. You pull the plug, nothing moves. You run a little water hoping it breaks loose, and now you've just got more water going nowhere. I know that feeling. I've stood right where you're standing, sleeves pushed up, looking down at a drain that won't cooperate. So here's the first thing I want you to hear, because it's going to save you money tonight. That clog is almost certainly the easy kind. 9 times out of 10, what's plugging up a sink, a tub, or a shower is soft. It's grease, it's hair, it's soap scum and coffee grounds, and the little bits of food that slip past the strainer and pack down over months into a soft, nasty plug. That's good news for you. Soft clogs come out. You do not need a plumber for a soft clog. You need about 10 minutes, and one of the 5 methods I'm about to walk you through. I've been turning wrenches for 30 years. My Uncle Ray put my first pipe wrench in my hand when I was a kid, and half of what I know I learned standing next to him under somebody's kitchen sink. So trust me on this. We're going to start with the cheapest, easiest fix, and we only get more serious if we have to. Most of you will be back to a draining sink before we even reach number 3. Let me show you. One straight word before we get our hands dirty, because I won't blow smoke at you. Everything I'm about to show you is for a fixture drain, a sink, a tub, a shower, the stuff you use every day. What we're doing clears the soft, organic gunk behind almost every clog in the house. What this is not for is your main line. If every drain in the house backs up at once, if the toilet gurgles when the washing machine drains, if water comes up in the tub when you flush, that's a different animal. That's a main sewer line problem, and it usually needs a big auger or a call to somebody with the right rig. I'd be doing you wrong if I told you a plunger fixes a collapsed sewer line. It doesn't, but that's the rare case. For the everyday clog at one fixture, stay with me because you're about to fix it yourself. Here's how we run this. Think of it like a ladder. We start on the bottom rung with the gentlest thing that could possibly work, and we only climb higher if the clog fights back. No sense hauling out the heavy artillery for a clog a rag and a plunger would have handled. And I'll tell you now, number 4 is the one that does the real heavy lifting. It's the method that scares people off for no reason at all, and once you see how simple it is, you'll never be afraid of a drain again. Number 5 is a tool a whole lot of you already own and never once thought to point at a clog. And at the very end, I've got the thing you do after, the little bit of upkeep that means you might not have to do any of this ever again. All right, bottom rung, let's climb. Number 1 is the plunger. And I already know what some of you are thinking. You've tried the plunger, it didn't work, you're ready to skip ahead. Don't, because I'd bet you good money you were doing it wrong. Almost everybody does. A plunger done right is a powerful thing. Done wrong, it's just splashing water around your kitchen. First, the right plunger. There are 2 kinds, and folks mix them up constantly. The one with the plain, flat cup on the bottom, that's your sink plunger. The one with the extra rubber flap that folds out of the cup. The flange, that one's built for a toilet. For a sink or a tub, you want the flat cup plunger. It sits flush on a flat drain and gives you a real seal. Now here's the part everybody skips, and it's the whole ball game. You have to block the escape routes. A plunger works on pressure. You push, and that force has to travel down into the clog. But your fixture has a back door. See that little overflow hole up near the top of the sink basin or up on the wall of the tub? Every push you make, air and water sneak right out that hole instead of hitting the clog. So plug it. Take a wet rag, ball it up, jam it into that overflow opening, and hold it tight. And if you've got a double kitchen sink, same deal with the second drain. Stuff a wet rag down the other basin and hold it, or set a plate with some weight on top. Otherwise, all your pressure just shoots up the other side. Ask me how I know. I spent a good 20 minutes plunging one side of a sink as a young man while my Uncle Ray stood there and let me figure it out. The water was going out the other drain the whole time. He got a laugh. I got the lesson. Last thing, you need water, The cup has to sit underwater to work because you're moving water, not air. If the sink's dry, run a couple inches in first and get that cup submerged. Then you plunge, and you plunge right. This isn't one big mash. Seat the cup over the drain, press down slow to squeeze the air out. Then it's a steady rhythm. Push and pull, push and pull. You're ramming that clog and then yanking back on it, working it loose from both directions. Give it 15 or 20 good strokes. Break the seal and check. If it was going to come loose easy, that water's swirling down right now. If not, no harm done. We climb. Number 2 is for one specific villain, and it's the most common one in any kitchen: grease. Here's what happens. You pour a little bacon fat or pan drippings down the drain while it's hot and runny. Looks harmless. But the second it hits that cool pipe, it firms right back up, and it starts grabbing everything that floats by. Coffee grounds, food bits, more grease. Before long, you've got a waxy plug lining the inside of your pipe, choking the flow down to a trickle. If your kitchen sink runs slow and it isn't hair, I'd put my money on grease. And the fix is almost too simple. You fight fat with soap and heat. Same reason dish soap cuts the grease off your frying pan, it'll cut it off the inside of your pipe. Squirt a good amount of liquid dish soap right down the drain, a quarter cup. Don't be shy. Let it slide down and work for a minute or two. The soap breaks the grease apart, what we call emulsifying it, turning that solid fat into something that'll move. Then you flush it with hot water. Now listen close, because a lot of folks on the internet get this next part dangerously wrong. Hot water, not boiling water. You'll see people telling you to dump a kettle of boiling water down there. Please don't. If you've got PVC pipe under that sink, and a whole lot of you do, boiling water can soften those joints and warp them, and now you've got a bigger problem and a wet cabinet floor. If you've got a porcelain sink, that sudden heat can crack the glaze. Hot tap water, as hot as your tap runs, is plenty. Let it run good and strong for a full minute to chase all that loosened grease down and out. Soap to break the grease, hot water to carry it away. That combination clears a grease clog more often than any fancy chemical you can buy, and it cost you a squirt of soap you already had under the sink. Number 3 is the one you've heard about 100 times: baking soda and vinegar. And I'm going to be straight with you here, straighter than most, because I respect you too much to sell you a magic trick. You've seen it. You pour baking soda down the drain, chase it with vinegar, and it foams up like a grade school volcano. And the story goes that the fizz eats right through your clog. Here's the truth. That fizz is not eating anything. What you're watching is a mild reaction, and the foam is mostly just mechanical. A bunch of bubbles jostling the gunk around. It is not a miracle. Anybody telling you baking soda and vinegar will blast out a solid clog is stretching it. But, and this is why it still earns a rung on the ladder. For light buildup, for a drain that's just gone a little sluggish and a little smelly, it does some real good. The bubbling loosens up soft, fresh residue on the pipe walls, and the vinegar does a nice job cutting odor. It's a gentle scrub and a freshen up. It won't save a badly plugged drain, but it might save one that's just starting to slow, and it'll leave things smelling clean instead of like a swamp. So give it its best shot. Get as much standing water out of the drain as you can first, so you're not watering everything down. Pour about half a cup of baking soda down and work it into the drain, not just into the sink. Follow with about a cup of plain white vinegar. You'll hear it go to work. Now cover the drain with the stopper or a rag to hold that reaction down in the pipe where the gunk is, instead of letting it fizz up into the basin. Let it sit 10-15 minutes. Then flush with hot tap water, and remember what I told you. Hot, not boiling. If your drain was just a little slow, that might have done it. If it's still stubborn, don't sweat it. That just tells you this clog means business, and it's time to bring out the tool that actually solves the hard ones. Quick thing before we bring out the heavy hitter. If this is already saving you a plumber bill tonight, do me a favor and subscribe to the Vintage Pipefitter. That's it. Every week I walk through another real repair like this one. The money-saving kind of fix-it took me years on the job to learn. Subscribing is free, and it keeps these walkthroughs coming to you when something breaks. All right, number 4. This is the one I told you about, the heavy lifter, the method that clears the clogs the first 3 can't touch. And I want you to promise me you won't be scared of it, because there's nothing to be scared of. This is a hand auger. Some folks call it a drain snake. It's a coil of cable wound up in a little drum with a crank handle, and you can buy one at any hardware store for about $20 to $30. Write that number down, 20 to 30 bucks, one time, and you own the same basic tool that Plumber was going to charge you $150 to bring in his truck. This one tool pays for itself the first time you use it, and then keeps paying for years. Here's what makes it work. All that flushing and soap only goes so far when the real problem is a solid wad of hair. And in a bathroom sink or a tub, that's usually exactly what it is. Hair binds up with soap into a tough, ropey clog, and you can't dissolve that. You have to physically grab it and drag it out. That's the snake's whole job. Now for a bathroom sink, let me let you in on something that solves half these clogs before you really snake anything at all. Look under the sink. You'll see a curved section of pipe shaped like a U or a J. That's your P-trap. And 9 times out of 10, on a bathroom sink, the clog is sitting right there in that trap or just past it. That trap is a gunk catcher by design. So here's what you do. Put a bucket right under that trap because there's water in it and it's coming out. Then loosen the 2 big slip nuts on either end. You can usually do it by hand, or with a pair of channel lock pliers if they're snug. Slide the trap off, and I'll bet you find your clog right there. A nasty plug of hair and black gunk you can pull out and throw straight in the trash. Clean it out, and a lot of you are already fixed. If the trap was clean, your clog's deeper, back in the pipe that heads into the wall. That's where the snake earns its keep. Feed the cable into that pipe and crank the handle to push it in. When it stops and you feel resistance, that's your clog. Keep turning. You're either boring through it, or, better, hooking onto it. When you feel it grab, pull the cable back slow and steady, and drag that mess right out into the light. Run it a couple times till the line comes back clean. Then put your P-trap back on, hand tight plus a little. Run the water, and check underneath for drips while it drains. That's it. That's the big, scary method. A $20 tool and 10 minutes, and you just did the exact job you were about to pay real money for. Number 5. This is the one I promised, the tool a whole lot of you already own and never once thought to aim at a drain. A wet/dry shop vacuum. Yeah, that vacuum out in the garage you use for sawdust and car floors. It can pull a clog right up and out of your drain, and it feels a little like a magic trick the first time you see it. Instead of pushing the clog down the line like a plunger, you reach in and suck it back out the way it came. Here's how. First, and this is not optional, your vacuum has to be rated for wet pickup, a wet/dry vac. If it's a dry-only vacuum, do not do this. You'd be pulling water into a machine that isn't built for it, and that's how you ruin the vacuum. Or worse, get yourself a shock. Only a wet-rated vacuum goes anywhere near water. Say it back to yourself. So set your vac up for liquid. Usually that means taking out the paper dust filter, putting in the foam sleeve if it came with one, and making sure the tank's empty. Check your machine. Now you want a seal. Same idea as the plunger. Take the hose and press it down tight over the drain opening. An old rag packed around the hose helps you get a good tight fit. So all that suction pulls on the clog and not on the air around it. And just like the plunger, if there's an overflow hole nearby, plug it with a wet rag so you're not losing suction out the back door. Get your seal, turn it on, and let it pull. That vacuum makes a strong, steady suction. And on a clog sitting somewhere near the opening, it'll grab it and yank it right up into the tank. You might even hear it let go. Run the water after and see if you've got a clear drain. Between you and me, this one won't reach a clog that's way down the line, and it gets messy if your seal's no good. But when it works in about 5 seconds flat. with a tool you already had. That's a fine trade for a free fix. Now, before I give you the last piece, the upkeep trick that keeps all of this from happening again, I have to stop and give you the one warning that matters most. This is the one that can actually hurt you, and I'd never forgive myself if I skipped it. Do not ever plunge a drain or take a shop vac to it right after you've poured a chemical drain cleaner down there. I mean it. Those store-bought chemical cleaners are caustic. They're basically lye. If you pour that in, it doesn't work, and then you go plunging or vacuuming, you can send that caustic liquid splashing right back up out of the drain, onto your hands, into your eyes. That is a serious chemical burn, and it happens to people. So if you've already tried a chemical cleaner and it failed, that's the one time I'll tell you to stop. Let it drain and clear on its own first, and think hard about calling somebody rather than risking your eyes. Between you and me, I'd rather you never pour those chemicals in the first place. The 5 methods you just learned beat them anyway, and they won't eat your pipes or your skin. 2 smaller reminders while I've got you. Hot water, never boiling, anywhere there's PVC or porcelain, and only ever a wet-rated vacuum around water. Follow those 2, and you'll never turn a small job into a big one. Now let's talk about what you just saved, because this is the part I love. Add up what those 5 methods cost. A flat cup plunger, about $5. A hand auger, $20 to $30. Dish soap and vinegar, a couple dollars, and you probably had them already. Call it $2 to $30, tops, for tools you'll use for the next 10 years. Now the other side of the ledger. A plumber coming out to snake a simple fixture drain runs you somewhere around $150 to $300, just to walk in the door and do what you did yourself. And if a shop talks you into hydrojetting the line, now you're looking at $300 to $600. For a clog, a $5 plunger would have handled. That's the game. A few dollars and a few minutes on your side against a few hundred on theirs. I know which one I'd pick. All right. I promised you a payoff at the very end, and here it is. The one thing you do, so you might never have to do the rest of it again. Because the best clog is the one that never forms. The trick is a monthly enzyme drain cleaner. Now these are a whole different animal from those caustic chemicals I told you to stay away from. Enzyme cleaners aren't harsh at all. They're loaded with good bacteria and enzymes that eat the organic stuff, the grease, the soap, the food, the little bits of gunk that build up on your pipe walls and slowly close them off. You pour a dose down your drains, usually right before bed, so it sits and works overnight while nobody's running water, and those little bugs spend all night quietly cleaning the inside of your pipes for you. It won't blast out a clog you've already got. That's not its job. Its job is to make sure you don't get one in the first place. Keep those pipe walls clean and clear, and the buildup never gets the chance to grab and grow into the plug that ruins your evening. So here's my honest advice, the same thing I'd tell my own family. Clear your clog with the right method from today. Then once a month, pour a little enzyme cleaner down your kitchen and bathroom drains and let it ride overnight. It's a couple bucks a month, it's gentle on your pipes, and it's safe for your septic if you've got one. Do that, and you might just watch these clogs disappear from your life for good. That's what 30 years taught me. The cheap little habit beats the expensive emergency every single time. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this got your drain running and kept your money in your pocket, consider subscribing to the Vintage Pipefitter before you go. Every week, I bring you another real-world repair and the money-saving tricks that only come from years under the sink. It's free, and it means next time your house acts up, You'll already have a friend in the trade. Now go take care of that drain. You've got everything you need, and you've had it in you the whole time. Roll those sleeves up, start on the bottom rung, and only climb as high as you have to. My Uncle Ray used to say the pipe doesn't care how fancy your tools are. It only cares that you understand it. Well, now you understand it. I'll see you next time. Keep the water flowing the right way.